There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, folks, welcome to the latest edition of the Yonkō Table. That is the voice of GrandMasterHoop coming at you at the helms today. Dr. Jace, attorney, couldn't be with us. He's still getting over that epic Demon Slayer episode, followed by that commencement of the Rumbling and Attack on Titan. He could not handle Sundays, which are now called Attack on Euphoric Demons, but we can handle it because we're here and we are the euphoric side. Yes, that is right. We are deep diving the newest episode of Euphoria, and boy, oh boy, what a deep dive, because it's more like a spiral. So without further ado, let me introduce who's here today with us. We got some great Supernovas returning to dish out what has transpired on episode 5 of Euphoria. Let's take a listen to who's here. All right. We waited long enough to go ahead and serve this plate here of episode 5. And goodness gracious, if a TV viewing is like a restaurant, this is the maitre d' shoving the plate in your face. We were thrown right into the action, right off rip. And let me tell you, what I think was maybe about 10 to 15 minutes, not entirely sure, that was all I needed for me to go ahead and say, give Zendaya her next Emmy. Give it to her. That is how I felt. But I'm gonna let I open the gates. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and flood it, because I was moved to tears.
Emotional.
See, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk. I mean, I want to talk about it. When thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Yeah, I cried.
I
know, I seriously cried. Yeah.
Dare can never say that this show glorifies drugs ever again after, especially that episode. Never. Mm-mm.
It was great. My ass off. First off, the show started on 100, and I was like people I was watching it with, they were like, your hand was on your mouth the whole time. And it's because if I didn't have my hand on my mouth, my face would have looked like this. Oh yeah, people are listening. But to describe it to you is my mouth would have been gagged open the whole time, gasping for life, because Zendaya killed that shit, for real. Zendaya did her thing, for sure. And I was very impressed on just also the camera work of it too, because it was so different than the whole other season. The whole season's been very psychedelic, euphoric, with all this colors and stuff. And the way they did it with this, it was just straight to the point, serious. There's no holding back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no holding back. It is here. You're taking it and you're done. I was like, nope, we're here. So that was me, and I was gagged.
I mean, go ahead.
I'm gonna take over here. When I was watching it, I had my roommates check in on me. They're like, David, are you okay? You don't look okay. Because I was curled up in a ball, feeling all of that tension. I'm like, oh no, she doesn't mean what she's saying. She's just saying this stuff out of crazy pants, I felt so uncomfortable for her, because I know that once she's out of her withdrawal, she's gonna regret what she said. And it's interesting though that she kept on apologizing to her mom, but then she never apologized to what she said to Jules. Oh man, it was, this whole episode was great. They did even use some Euphoria lighting on a lot of different scenes. It was just so subtle, we didn't really pay attention to it. There was one scene where she was kind of running, and the lights were following behind her and stuff. Man, this whole episode was it was good. It was deep, but it was good. It was needed.
I mean, as we have alluded to, what people have alluded to, this was they said the rock bottom episode. And I feel in that opening scene, I think when my tears hit, I think when she broke down and said, "I'm sorry I scared you," apologizing for scaring them. And this was before I think she even broke down the door. And
no, she broke down at that point.
But then she flips right back. And I'm gonna say this on live too. And I told y'all earlier, I watched the Rue special. I've not watched the Jules special, and I'm very glad I chose the Rue special because the whole time too, during this whole thing, I'm thinking of the parallel between her and Ali, and I'm thinking, this must have been what Ali was talking about, like the shit that you can't take back and the terrible shit that you do, and how the addiction is a disease, and how people want to call you selfish. A lot of people could, if you, without the proper context, her asking where are the drugs, where's the suitcase, might just sound selfish. I mean, to a degree, there probably is some selfish, but she's also thinking, I'm fucked if I don't find the suitcase. And that's dramatic irony. We knew why she really, she wanted the suitcase probably for the drugs too, but also because she feared for her life.
I don't think it was very much about the fear for the life part. So I want to address that in the beginning. So I'm gonna call it a spade. What that is. She wanted the drugs. Now she knew she was fucked because when she knew she couldn't pay it back, she could not get supplied further on that. And that's the first thing that you think is the case, right? But see, had it been about just because of the who the suitcase is and stuff, the mom asks, she says, well, whose suitcase is it? And she does not fess up to it about that stuff too. Because then she's gonna have to fess up about how she's been doing drugs for so long and all this other stuff, and she still had that denial factor about it's not mine, right? But she still claimed so much ownership and possession of it. She wanted for the drugs, and it was so the roller coaster of back forth. She's just trying any given way, any angle she can get. She was like, let me piece them sad, let me go angry, let me go bring my dad into it, which a lot of it, there's truth to it, and there's also a lot of things that she couldn't take back. But I totally think that it was for the drugs more than than the selling.
See, that's the thing with the addiction part, was that there was a sense of logic, but then the effort, and like you were saying, the back and forth and the different avenues she was choosing to attack this problem of hers, then you realize it is about the drugs, it is about the high. There was a sense of logic that she kept coming back to at a point, but that aggressive behavior, that's when you realize it's the addiction that's running her right now. And nothing else.
You can go, Darce.
No, go ahead, Kame.
All right, so I think there's a parallel to this. I think that both were applying at the same time. Mm-hmm. I think if you think about it, she's done this before where she had a moment, but she never been this dramatic just about the drugs. I think for a fact that the 10K was scaring the shit out of her, because there's no way she would have acted so hardcore, because it's not like she's never not had drugs before. If it was just about the drugs, she'd have been like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and ask somebody for drugs. And it would have been a whole different episode, but it was because it was that lady's money. That's why she broke into the babysitter's house. She stole all the stuff, and then took the money and then tried to give it to the lady. And then the teacher, and she was yeah, you said you weren't on drugs, but you're clearly on drugs. And it was a whole different, I guess, way that, she can exit now. But I think her getting to that point, it was the drug addiction. But for the most part, she knew she was about to get sold to whoever if she does not have that lady's money. She had nothing. And then she found out they flushed it. Oh my God. I felt the anger she had at the time. I was like, ooh, I would be so mad, because they really don't get that. In real life, she really does need to sell this shit. She really does need to. It's not hers, for real. it's
But that's the hole she dug, man. That's the whole.
like,
and we knew that was coming too. We knew good and well she wasn't gonna make any good on selling those drugs. She was gonna be doing more of those drugs, and now this is shit has hit the fan for
And
real,
I mean,
for real.
Like, she didn't go to the teacher right away. That wasn't her first stop. Like, that was her last stop when like there was literally nothing else that she could do. She went to the teacher, you know. So it wasn't that she didn't fear the teacher at all. I think she was terrified of the teacher.
The teacher?
She's a teacher.
Oh, I was like, I just call her like the queen pin, the psychotic sociopathic bitch.
I think her name is Lori.
Lori.
Her.
Because I'm curious.
Yeah.
It was like a 51%, 49% situation where I think there's definitely like withdrawal happening. So she's clearly we saw the amount of desperation because she was willing to kind of cross a boundary that she hadn't even engaged in before, which is doing something IV wise. But additionally, I think there was that element of like, oh, like I definitely owe this lady money and all drugs are gone. And like, I'm not gonna be able to get my fix, but also like, I need to be able to get something to give to her to prove that I'm trying, but to also get access to something. Cause she did ask, like, do you have something here?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is that like 51%, 49% in terms of like, I'm going through withdrawal, I need something to alleviate that. And like, also this woman is scary and I owe her a lot of money that I do not have whatsoever. And I think there's that waking up, that logical part when she woke up and was like, I'm in different clothing, I'm in this stranger's house, I'm locked up in this bitch, how do I get home? So, and I think like Hooper had brought up earlier, that just that unraveling, and there's moments of like clarity, but then there's moments of like that desperation, that anger, that irritation, etc. So it was wild.
And on top of it, like when you're going through withdrawal, like your sense of anxiety is so heightened. It's like more than just like being regularly anxious, or like even for people who have anxiety attacks, it's like on a whole new level. So like a million things are running through her mind. And I'm sure that really sparked a huge amount of anxiety. And that's why she kind of went in that rampage. Like, I need that suitcase. I really need that suitcase. Like, because you're like, yes, you're itching for that drug, but like, you're also like kind of terrified that like, crap, I'm going to owe this woman a lot of money. And like, I have no way of paying it off. I'm just a kid. I'm 17 years old, you know, like, and I don't think she was thinking of any sort of like other repercussions of like either her life or like her family and friends' lives, but like I think it was just more of like I just really need to get like this stuff like handled. I need to get this stuff taken care of. And like part of like why I think Zendaya needs to win this freaking Emmy is that she did her research, even to the like, yawning, you know, like those are signs of going through opioid withdrawals. And she nailed it. She was yawning, she had the diarrhea, she was like itching and everything. Like I was feeling so uncomfortable for her. And
watching her writhe was a lot, especially when talking to Maddy and not Maddy, Cassie and Lexi's mom. That was painful to watch too.
Can't wait to we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Honey.
No, we'll get there. But you know, Zendaya deserves the utmost praise for this episode. But I tell you, her mother and Gia sold it just as much. And like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like being empathy wise, trying to put yourself in their shoes. Like at that point, what is the mother to do? What is she to do? And I mean, she, because at first, you see her combat Rue and, confront her about the using and, let's take a drug test and whatnot. And then you see her become just super defensive and to the point where she just sits by Gia to make sure, nothing happens. And then, she closes the door and, oh my gosh, the strength Zendaya put into that door, which I think is some symbolism there because she put holes in it first. That's the holes that are the gaping holes that are widening in her, I don't know, psyche. I had it yesterday. Let me stop. But the point is, I had it yesterday. I should have wrote it down. But the moment I think I really felt it too when she broke down that door and they were just kind of, cradling in fear. And it was so And that's the other thing. It's a real thing people go through.
I have to let it play out.
I think for me, what really did it is when her mom said she wasn't a good person.
Yes.
And
yes.
based from the last episode, when she was hugging her father saying, I'm not a good person, like her mom basically spoke her fears and like she said it out loud for her and said, you're not a good person. And then I feel like her attacking her mother saying, oh, you know,
you're 0 for 2.
Yeah, like you're not a good mom, you know, if dad was here, you know, it's like one thing as a mother to be dealing with your child as an addict, but I think the worst fear for a parent, like, was this my fault? Was this my doing? And Rue kind of attacked her from that angle. Again, she's going through withdrawals, so she's going to say anything. She's going to lash out because she is feeling anxious, feeling irritable from withdrawal symptoms. So when she said that, I just felt that for her mom. Like, that just broke my heart because we know, like, they both basically, like, spoke each other's, like, fears to each other, I think. In that one scene, from there, I just, like, started crying. And I don't know, like you said, Gia, she's going to be traumatized. And Ali even spoke to it too last season, you know, how this is going to impact Gia for her life. She's not going to be able to trust people easily. She's not going to be able to love openly. Like, I know people who have had older siblings that went through addiction, and that very much like hits the nail on the head. Like, that is something that Gia is going to go through life because, again, the manipulation that goes behind when people are addicted to drugs. So, you know, they can't just trust anybody because they feel like they're lying to them because that's what they experienced with someone who was really close to them. Like, they lied to them, and they would do anything for a fix. So,
and
yeah,
we started off the episode like straight up attacking Gia, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell mom? You told mom that I'm smoking weed? Like, I can't believe you, blah, blah, blah. It's just weed. And like,
well, and the mom says, she's like, oh, how, she's like, you knew or whatever. And she's like, I didn't. And it's just like, it's a very combative thing because Gia's only 13. So imagine like
13.
Yeah, she's like 13 in the show, right?
No, she's like 15.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they go to school together with the little brothers of McKay.
She's a freshman?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I thought she was 13, but whatever. Even then, just like with her, she's just like having so much like things that are going on with her. I really applaud Zendaya and her sister, like they're arguing. I noticed it also in another episode when she first was like, oh, I'm just gonna be smoking weed. That was in episode 3. Yeah. And this now they're really good at just arguing. Like, they're just so good at like that pacing and stuff. Also the mom too. It was incredible. It was like an overlap from like season 1's argument, you know, to now this shit was like the evolved version of the fight. So good. And I do agree with you, Niece Species, on the when the mom said you're not a good person, that literally she's like, you think I'm not a good person? I'm gonna show you I'm not a good person. And like, it almost like honestly like opened the gate to like enter us into Rue's world. Like, Rue was like, I feel so destructive all the time. Now I'm going to show you what like I feel. And what she blew up her whole life. Like, and it was so like, it was amazing. It was horrible. It was horrifying and like really hard to watch. A lot of people that I was watching with, like, they couldn't, like, they were like, oh my God, I just want to take my eyes off it, but you just can't, you know?
Yeah, you can't look away.
And that's just literally what happened. And like, the mom's like slapped her. She's like, and all that stuff too. And they got physical and all that. It was great. It was so. And then when Jules,
the turning point.
Jules said that I flushed them down. Oh, can we get into that? Because when Jules said that,
perfect segue. Well, one,
I said,
did y'all even think they were there? Did you think they were there?
No, and the fact that Jules didn't help out. Jules did not help out at shit. She heard that whole house banging, and she said, "We just gonna sit here."
I think, but we remember Jules'
friends were there. I was like, they so fake. They've been fucking behind her, and now they're like gonna just do this shit. Like, this is crazy. I couldn't believe it was her. I heard her voice.
No, when her voice dropped, I was like, no.
We were all as equally surprised as Zendaya was. when she heard her voice.
And Zendaya played that flawlessly. Her face, she was like in utter betrayal. Like she felt so betrayed. And like she just later, she's like, oh, now I see what this shit hit off. Because she just blew up her whole mom and sister, thinking that her sister's the one that told and that or whatever, and that they found the suitcase, right? And now the truth comes out that it's Jules and Elliot. Now, I don't know, but I do have a question to pose. Do y'all think that Rue knows that Jules and Elliot are fucking or not?
No.
Because, and the only reason why I say this is because I was looking at a clip again, and she asks Elliot, and she's like, why would you snitch on me? And then there's a long ass pause when he looks at her, she looks at him, and then she looks at Jules, and then she just gives like a, huh.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, maybe Rue smelled a little bit of that little intermingle.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to tell and I feel like this goes back to like last week's episode, because a lot of people think that Maddy may potentially know what's going on between Cassie and Nate, and someone had mentioned that, and I'm not going to phrase this properly, you guys are in theaters, you probably know this, but I guess like the directors like do different scene cuts where they have like the actor, okay, portray like you know something's going on. Okay, portray like you have no idea what's going on. And then portray like you have suspicions. And then they kind of use that to their advantage to piece the different scenes together to like kind of confuse the audience on if they know or not. So I don't know if that was similar to like what happened in Zendaya's case. Like if they wanted us to be confused if she knows or not. I don't think she knows. I think she was, I think she may, I don't know. I didn't feel like she really had her suspicions, but maybe I have to rewatch that clip you saw. I feel like I just feel like in that moment, she just felt utter betrayal overall. Because, you know, she was Elliot's friend first, and Jules was really suspicious of him. And then they grew close together, and then he snitched her out on Jules, like after he kind of was enabling her to continue doing drugs in the first place. So it's like, who the fuck are you to call me out?
It's interesting that you said that, because like I rewatched the previous episode right before, and when him and Jules started making out for the first time, like she sent a text saying I'm outside, and I'm like, ooh, like I wonder if she saw like through the window something happen like between the two of them, and she like texted them, and then like she goes to the bathroom, they make out on the bed, and then she just walks back in, and like there's just next to each other on the bed. Like I don't know what their dynamic is, and if that's like something that's like whatever, but maybe it is. But and then for Rue to come out of nowhere and just be like, I can't stand you, like I don't know what was going through her head when she was saying all that stuff to Jules. So
well,
I don't know if y'all remember last week when we talked about this, when we brought up why did he tell Jules, like, and remember it was like it went like three directions. I think like one thing that was said, I probably said it, it was that he was definitely, it was like a motive. Like I thought it was a whole motive for him to get, you know, in Jules' pants. So I thought it was a very strong connection when he said, like when Rue was like, huh, like, okay. When she was like, why'd you tell? Like, why'd you snitch? And I was like, ooh. And I was like, I feel like the real reason, and I think she caught on. So that's the only reason why I was saying, I'm pretty sure she knows. Like, I think that was her indication of saying, oh, I got it. All right. Yeah. And that's why she didn't break her stance in Jules' face, and she got even more mad. And she kept saying what she was saying, and she wasn't going to break it because she's like, oh, I for sure know something was going on. I don't like you now. I didn't like you like when I said it last time. So you know what? And now that I see what's going on, I definitely don't like you. And I'm pissed because you flushed my pills down the toilet. Are you kidding? I'm done. Like, look, I felt that entirely. I was like, yeah, I'd be pretty upset. And if I caught T, I would be like, yeah, no.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like it's maybe suspicion. I don't know. I feel like a lot of what she said to Jules was like left over from how season 1 ended more than anything. And just like the increased resentment that she was feeling from the situation itself and withdrawal. I think eventually something will have to give in terms of Elliot, because I don't know what's going on with him. I still don't trust him. But I think a lot of the conversations she had with Jules was purely based off of their relationship more than anything Elliot had to do with. I think if he wasn't there, there still would have been elements of like the things that she was saying about her and to her. I think because of just like, one, the surprise of her being there in the first place, of her being involved, of this feeling of betrayal that you all have already brought up, that I think that like you love being loved still would have been said to some degree, because there was still really no resolution in terms of like whatever was going on with Nate beyond the fact that, you know, he's terrible. And, you know, the threats near the end of season 1. But in addition to the fact that she left, and she had brought that up, like, you left me. And this was really the first time that the two of them had like true, like, this is how Rue felt beyond the slight thing that she had said at the campfire. Like, like, yeah, I relapsed because you left, you weren't here. But this was like, the floodgates were open and they were just going to continue to be open. And the whole purpose of this episode was just like the destruction. Like, she had posted the excerpt from the script of what Ali said of like, here's what happens when you're on addiction. And frankly, you know, I won't get too into it because, you know, ethics, but I've had people come to my office before and this is the result. Like, I've had crisis sessions where people are like, yeah, this is what happened over the weekend. And now, you know, my relationship with my partner or with my children or with my parents are like currently ruptured because of just what is ongoing as I'm trying to navigate substance use concerns. So I think a lot of what she said to Jules would have been said regardless of Elliot being there or not. I think he just happened to add a little bit to it because now he's involved and there's maybe some element of suspicion, but I don't know if she knows the fullness of what they got up to.
Yeah, and I wonder if Elliot learned. I feel first off, Elliot's a messy bitch. Let's start there. I was there for the drama, but then Elliot. Okay, right before I get into Elliot, sorry, Jules is a G because Jules held her shit there. She was so monotone and flat, but to be there and just be like, I love you and support you and try not to like make it worse and just take that heat that Rue was giving was crazy. So I'm gonna give her the kudos of that. Still she's fucked up for some things, but we'll get into that later. Elliot's ass, when Elliot says, what does he say? He says, I shouldn't have said anything to her.
That is not my place.
I said, you can't retract that shit now, girl. Little messy boy. And I was like, you see what happens when you start playing with all the sides and try to being this person? This is what happens. Did you learn anything? Probably not. But I was like, good, you're gonna deal with this.
Yo, like, everybody is against Elliot on this podcast. I feel like I'm the only one that can kind of empathize with the poor guy.
I am not Team Elliot, but I'm not against him.
Unpack that. We need to
what is there to empathize about?
It's not necessarily empathizing, but I think he's like coming to a point where he's realizing himself that he doesn't want to be a sloppy bitch. You know, like, he wants to try to rechange some things. And he thinks that the healthiest thing to do is to tell Jules what happened, you know? And he knew that like things were going to happen with him and Jules. And he's like, you know what? I can't keep lying to you. I can't keep telling you that like your girlfriend's not doing drugs anymore. So I want to help you out. And then like when they were doing their scenes where everybody had like their little moment in whatever their area was, where like Lexi was in like the theater and like Cassie was in front of her flowers and all that stuff. Elliot was in a church and he was looking up. So it was like he was coming to a point where he's like, you know what? I got to start doing the right thing. I got to start making the right moves. And you start seeing a little bit too when he blew away the drugs. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to do these drugs. And like, I don't want to be that sloppy hoe anymore. I kind of want to just like make sure that I'm coming to terms with everything.
Are you sure?
I mean, they're also high school children.
They are.
Yeah, I feel like. I feel like he genuinely
together. You can't do that.
I feel like he just, I get what you're saying, Darce. I feel like he just, again, kind of what we talked about last week. I feel like he sometimes doesn't realize the impact of his actions until it gets to a point where it's too late. I don't think he has the best intentions going into things, but when he realizes, oh, shit's hitting the fan right now, what did I do? Like, he tries to retract it, but to the point where for example, this episode, it's kind of too late.
You gotta own that shit, like Rue's mother said, you know. Like,
he's a kid. He's trying to figure it out.
It don't
He's in
matter.
high school.
Listen,
this is very high school. I don't know. Some people were saying this is not my high school, and it wasn't my high school in per se because there wasn't as like graphic in that regard. But with the messiness and people talking behind their backs and people like saying some really heavy like deep cutthroat shit, I feel like that's so high school though. And I think and your point, I do see it now, Darce, with Elliot, that he does have a chance. He wants a chance at redemption, but he just keeps doing it after the fact. That's his problem.
His intentions are good. I don't think he's in the wrong for saying, hey, this person is the addict that y'all told me is an addict is still doing drugs. I do not think he's in the wrong for saying that. As we stated before, high school, this may not be your high school, but the way they approach these subjects is very high school. They approach it wrong. It can be messy at times, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's very high school in the approach. I don't think this was my high school, but I'm messy. I'm not messy. Comment Chris knows. Comment Chris knows.
You heard it here first. You heard it here. GrandMasterHoop is a dumpster fire of mess.
Not at all. Not at all. I can empathize with Elliot just wanting to do the right thing, and but if you're gonna do the right thing, you need to accept what comes from it. Whatever comes after, just accept it. You're a part of it now.
I mean, like the
on
thing,
my shit list.
He is
right
like.
Now.
I don't think he's an addict. I think he's a user, right? And there's a difference between the user and the addict. And so like when he goes and tells someone like, hey, you know what, they're using drugs, like that's when you come to Jesus moment and you're like, okay, well, like let's try to fix the situation. I don't think he really knew that like Rue has been in rehab multiple times. Like when he saw,
I said that too last week. I don't think he knew the gravity of the situation.
Right. When he saw Rue drinking, and he's like, bro, what are you doing? You can't be doing that while you're on this stuff. Like, it was a genuine, like, concern. Because, like, if he planned to, like, go get alcohol and he knew that Rue was going to drink alcohol while being on that stuff, he wouldn't have said anything. He would have just been quiet. But, like, he was, like, genuinely concerned for Rue. And he's like, yo, what? Why are you drinking while on these drugs? Like, this can kill you. Like, what do you, like... And so I think that kind of, like, woke him up. And he's like, shoot, like, I don't want to be responsible for this girl dying on me. I don't want Jules to be pissed off that I didn't say anything. Just like how the mom was pissed off that Gia didn't say anything. So you have those duality moments, and then you have to like kind of like realize like, all right, like, is he trying to do the right thing? I think so. Is he sloppy? A little. But I mean, like, what else? Like, I would have done the same thing. Like, if I saw someone was an addict, like, I'd go to like their parental figure and be like, yo.
It's his actions afterwards. He does something nice and then does something super fucked up right after every single time. It makes no sense.
Wasn't he do fucked up after though?
Like he literally gave the girl drugs. Like he literally is the reason why she's getting drugs at this point.
He didn't know. He didn't know was an addict.
No, but listen,
cool
but it was his idea to go get the alcohol. Why would you do that? And he's like, you shouldn't be drinking. Like, okay, you're so smart. And then after that, he goes and kisses Jules or messes with Jules. That's even so much smarter. Congratulations. And then, okay, let's go to the episode we're at right now. He literally snitched, he literally snitched to Jules that Rue was doing drugs, then goes, like, the last thing we see is them both naked. Like, he walking into the room. Like, obviously they fucked. Like, okay, congrats. Like, you did it again. You helped Rue so much. You are so helpful.
He moves him. It moves himself along, too.
I should have, he shouldn't have been involved in any of this. Oh, my God. Maybe.
But that's how children learn is after the fact.
It's the high school of it all.
Yeah, right. But it's the intent. It's the feel like I'm doing something great, but then you're an asshole right afterwards. I have no, like, I'm sorry, I don't care. Like, they gotta be of age to understand.
If Kame Chris has children, he gonna be pissed as fuck. that's what we're hearing.
I don't want to harp on Elliot too much.
Yeah.
There's a lot more happening in this episode.
Speaking
This
of
dude has
redeeming,
like 3 more episodes to redeem himself, so we shall see. But you know, the next bit of the episode I would like to just call the running of the Rue, or run Rue run.
When she's in the car and she drops out.
Okay, hold up real quick. See, I don't want to hop on this too much because like I feel a lot of this was played for comedy, but it's that dramatic situational irony, because it's funny watching her run around this town making a fool of herself, but it's also very sad because she's, you know,
making a fool of herself.
Well, she's relapsing and she's in desperation trying to figure out how she's gonna get money or get drugs but why didn't they put the child lock on the door?
Yes, honey, I said the same thing.
What the fuck? I was like, the whole time I was watching it with Captain Falcon, and I was like, the child lock. She's gonna hop out the car. They
even gave her the option. They were like, do you want to sit shotgun? I'm like,
yeah, an option? There's no options here.
I don't think she.
I guess they didn't want to like throw her off.
She needed to sit shotgun so her mama can just be like, get your ass back in the car, like grab her and pull her back in.
Yes. I don't know. Rue would have punched that bitch in the face and got out. That's what she would have done.
But she ran out of anxiety.
I'm surprised Gia didn't get out of the car and run after Rue.
Gia was like, Mom, go get her.
Oh my God, Gia's face every time she was screaming was hilarious.
I would have booked off the car if that was my sister. She would not have been able to not run away from me. There's no way.
I would have been bear hugging Rue. I'm like, you ain't going anywhere. She could be clawing at me, headbutting me. But
someone brought up a point, like, why didn't the cops like try to taser her or something like while she was running around?
Okay, the cops are questionable too. They're all slow as hell. They're not agilic at all. I'm sorry, agile.
Clarity in terms of, I felt this was like a cinematic decision. There was no clarity into the reason why she was being apprehended in the first place anyway.
Yeah, like it was just like
someone throwing up on the street is no grounds for they doing it for cinematic purpose.
They need a show.
I don't know, because like if you go and like they're like, hey, where are you going? And they're like, I'm going, and then
it's because she ran. It's because she ran.
Then she ran.
Which,
like, oh shoot, we got to
Darce, you know all about that. You know all about.
We're not gonna bring that up on this public podcast.
Oh my gosh, fine. We will not bring this up.
I want to hear about this later.
We can talk about it post show. Y'all
What's
stay
the
tuned.
tease, sis?
Y'all stay tuned for the post show. But hold up. Do you think it was smart of her to tell her that she's not taking her to the ER? I thought that was a really dumb move.
Yeah. Dumbass move too.
Yeah,
so stupid.
Why
You're supposed to stop in front of the place and be like, yeah, we're not at the ER. Like,
right. I was like, wait, come on.
They should have Baker acted her, to be really honest. When she started like hurting stuff, like literally like hurting herself with the door and like literally that, like they could have like called immediately. But I guess like, you know, it's different because they were like, you know, she's been through this. They put trust in her again. And you know that was probably the problem. But that run scene was cool because I was like, all right, Rue, you're athletic as fuck now because that bitch could not ride a bike before.
Hold up.
So she would have jumped all this shit.
Listen, she did everything with a limp. She was limping the whole time.
Yes.
I was like, you cops suck. How are you not catching this limp leg girl? Like, parkour. Right. Get this girl. Somebody.
And she was falling on glass. She was falling on cactuses.
Oh my God. Was she on the table?
Not a single cut was on her. There was no blood anywhere. I'm like, there's some bullshit. I don't believe this.
Oh my gosh. What happens after this run? The first place she stops at is Cassie's house.
No. She stops at Fez's first. She stops at...
Oh yeah, but then Fez wasn't there.
Fez wasn't there, right.
Yeah.
I gotta bring in like a little nerd into this. Did anybody get the slightest bit of Spider-Man vibes?
Don't do that because Spider-Man took from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So
exactly. But they're just doing it again. She was running through the neighborhood. The
real MJ.
The same like grill thing that she stepped on was like the same set from Spider-Man. I don't know.
I got that vibe too. I did, but I didn't want to say anything because I was like,
I did. You're welcome.
It takes away from the realism of the show, so I was like, let me not even say it. So,
but her first stop was Fez, but then her next stop was Cassie's house.
Well, she went to Fez's twice. Two different locations.
She went to Fez's the first time.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there, and then she went back after.
Okay, so back. So
yeah, then she went to Cassie's house. Then she went back to Fez's house. Then she went to the robbery, and then to that lady's house.
Well, here we are. Well, here, let's talk about Fez real quick because I'm sure that'd be really quick. But, you know, when she does make it into Fez's house, you know.
Fez was tired for shit, especially when she touched his grandma's pills. Like, he's like, oh, no, you gotta get on up out of here.
Well,
like,
she pushed him, too.
No, it was the push. It was the push that was like, oh, she gotta go.
Yeah,
well, he said, like, we're not doing this right now.
No, it was she grabbed the pills and he was kindly telling her, okay, you gotta leave. But then when she pushed him, that's when he was like, okay, like, no, we're not doing this. But like her grabbing his grandmother's pills was like, okay, you cannot be here anymore. And then I think the push definitely just threw him over. He's like, oh, this is what we're doing? Okay. I'm gonna carry your ass out.
And the first episode, they showed like his grandma. So like the audience is now like, oh dang, like she went into like forbidden territory, you know?
But that's the thing is that, see, I ride this thin line with Fez because I'm like, I don't want to blame all this on Fez. Of course, Rue's got all these other problems, but Fez is definitely kind of an enabler in the situation of Rue and her drug use. And, you know, he's like, you know, he's let her stay on the couch before and she's like, you know, high or in relapse. I mean, not relapse. Yes, relapse. What am I saying? I'm sorry, withdrawals and whatnot. And I think she's had some of the grandma's pills before. No,
but they were talking to her.
He also never gave her hard drugs.
But it's like, you know, he's definitely not. He's a good friend.
Fez can't go up to the mom. Are you crazy? Rue would snitch his ass out.
No doubt.
Very delicate subject. Like Rue, like he has like a whole business and stuff, so he has to like conduct it in a very certain manner because bringing heat back to that is going like. Be dumb, you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I hear you, but it's just like it's so because like he's part of the issue of her drug abuse, you know.
But I see again. I'm trying to root for the other guy because like here we see Fez and he's like, yes, like he gave her drugs to start, but he's always been like that big brother to her, you know, like always trying to take care of her. And anytime she did want to do something that was stronger, he's like. Nah, Rue, you don't want to do that. You know, like he's always like trying to like be like, no, like you need to like stay in your lane. Like if you want a little recreational fun, sure, but like when Mouse is his name Mouse. Yeah, when Mouse went and like gave her the fentanyl, like he was like jumping out of his skin to like protect her, you know, like he was like trying his best to be like,
well, no, that's the thin line. That's the thin line because he is he's not a bad person. He's just not a good person for Rue right
now. He's a drug dealer.
Right.
You don't think Fez is good for Rue?
To a degree, again, he's a good person. He has morals. It's just how the situation has, you know, evolved throughout their time together.
But the thing is, like, the drug dealer's not responsible for the person's action. You know?
I'm not saying he is
responsible, but like I feel like in life, everyone has to get to a certain point where even if they're not in the direct wrong in the situation, you do have to accept the fact that you do play a part in the situation, right? So although Fez is not and I love Fez, he's not responsible for her actions, but I think he does know and accept the fact that he does play a part in her addiction. Yeah. And it's not that he's a bad friend. It's just when you're getting to a point in your life, especially when you're trying to get sober, you just start to realize there's people you can't be around. So like if you're trying to, you know, for example, if you're not trying to drink as much, it's not so much that your friends who do go out drinking every weekend are bad people and they're bad for you. It's just maybe you can't hang out with them as much because they are partaking in those actions. And Fez that's his business, you know, he can't really help it. But
he doesn't. I don't think like he encourage it, not even the slightest.
No, I don't think he encourages it, but again, it's just the fact that he's running that business and he can't help that. It's just, plus, again, it's not like intentional. It's just he does play a part, though. You can't deny that he does play a part.
Well, I would say he really kind of, every time she's ever been in a bad spiral, he does not give her anything. Like he will not. He's not. Every time she spirals, he doesn't give her anything. So I don't even think he should feel responsible for anything. Every time something's going on with her, he's uberly protective and won't give her anything. He just kicked her out. Like, I don't think he should feel that responsible. I mean, maybe like in the past, but he's like trying to stop her from doing anything. And regardless, if he sold it to her, she was going to find it another way, and it was going to happen some way, somehow. So it's really
there it is. I think that's what it is. Like, he knows that she's going to do whatever she can to get it, and he's like, you know, if you're going to get it from someone, get it from me, because you know that I can trust you. Also, he never really charged her for anything. He, like, anytime she went to Ash and she's like, oh, put it on my tab, and Ash is like, you don't have a tab, like, you got to pay up.
Yeah.
But like,
I think the biggest thing is, like, with literally every character on this show, there's an element of, like, you could feel sympathy for them and maybe like that part of them, but also recognize that some of the things they're doing aren't really great influences. And so I think you can like Fez, like people certainly do. I mean, I enjoy watching him, but also recognize too that it's like, there is that contribution. He isn't wholly responsible, but like, you did still sell her drugs in the past, and she does still have access. She has been around you at times in which she has been relapsing this. And so I think there's an element of, like, you can still like him, but recognize there are faults, just like every single character on the show.
Right. So, and I need to clarify something for the audience out there. I'm not condoning drug dealers. I'm also not trying to say that I'm on the side of drug dealers. I'm just trying to illuminate the situation of what was going on with Fez, and kind of like, not that he's not a bad guy, but just like trying to put in perspective of, like, he's trying to mess that up.
He's not a bad guy. I just, when he said, you know, we're not doing this today, and, you know, as far as the push, that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because that, to me, I don't know, that just felt like the missing ownership of or contribution to the situation. I don't know, because as much as we say he's a big brother, you know, I didn't see the taking the pills was great, but putting her out,
you want him to do.
But so. No, I'm not done. I was gonna say, you know, but I get it. Everybody's fed up with Rue at this point. You know, everybody's fed up with Rue. So I get it. But at the same time, it's like, we need to recognize it as a disease, as Ali so perfectly stated before. And, you know, putting her out was not necessarily, I mean, again, I get it. You're fed up, you're angry, but I don't know if that was the best thing for him to, if he was really looking out for her, you know. But granted, you're not gonna wrestle with this girl trying to get your grandma's pills all night. So
I was gonna say, if he left her in the house, you just would have found some of his drugs, whether it be his grandma's. So it's like, he's kind of put in a tough situation. And I think anyone who does have an addict in their life goes through that tough situation. It's like that balance between, you want to be that tough love, but you also want to give them, you know, that gentle, that TLC. It's like, where's the balance, you know?
I think Fez has been there for Rue a fucking lot. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't say he wasn't.
And to me, like, when people, I didn't say like you, like, didn't say.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm saying, like, with Fez, to kick her out is not that big of a deal. But I think the bigger deal is, like, the fact that Rue, like, he looks out for her like a sister, and honestly, Fez is kind of like her only male presence, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't have her dad. She doesn't have all that stuff too. He's kind of like the one there for her. So I think that he did exactly what the fuck he needed to do, which was send that bitch packing. Because had he kept her there, you know, she would have a lot of things could have happened. It could have spiraled to other controllers and make more damage. And she's just like, you need to go away. And like, he just cut it right there. Like, and it's probably because of experience and like things that he knows. But nah, I think that what Fez did, I was very like, good, Fez. Good for you, because she needed to go. She was disrespecting your shit. And I think that even in other seasons, I mean, yeah, he gave her drugs, like in the season 1 and stuff like that, but like he's always like weed her off, and he's the one that kind of like understands Rue like more than like a lot of people in the show. So when it came to that scene of it, I honestly, Fez just opening his fucking door for her to get into that house was enough. She crossed it, and so he sent her packing. I think that was the better. I think what else could he have done? They're like, oh, he could have like not kicked her out and like put her on the couch and like slept or told the mom or things like that. But he didn't even have to even open the door for her. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have to. He's like could tell that she was like fucking fucked up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's my take on it.
Let's look at the other spectrum from her other previous stop. The house of Cassie and Lexi. Very different kind of, I mean, 2 different situations as far as her relationships with Fez versus those sisters. Different approach of how they dealt with it. And of course, another spiral, a very big, I did not, what? I saw it.
Drop Cassie's thing.
The moment, because do y'all watch it with the captions?
Yeah.
The moment when I noticed that Cassie was the one who said one day at a time.
Dumbass.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Stupid ass bitch. When she said that shit and she said one question, my fingers were clapping.
I was like, oh, she's about
her
to.
Fucking ass, Rue. Ooh, she's going to school her.
It kind of caught me off when Rue did go off, because honestly, like the way everyone's reaction was, at first I was like, wait, should she have said anything? And then everybody was like, kind of like, yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, and I was like, I mean, like that's not bad advice, you know. And then boom, Rue, I was like, oh, so that she didn't want to hear that. Okay, I was like, she just spilled everything, like, so that was so unnecessary to what was originally said. Like,
but they're all, you gotta remember, they're all high schoolers.
No, this has nothing to do with that.
It had nothing to do with
before we even get into that, we have to set the cap. We have to set the stage. When she gets in there, her first thing is that she's like, oh, she's sick, she needs to go to the bathroom. And then what does she do? She goes for pills first, sees that she doesn't get the pills that she needs, which also just shows which is that, and then she steals the gold rings for money, right? So she can go ahead and sell that shit to get more drugs or to give it back to the lady, right? And things like that. And then she's just gonna come back and leave. She was not out there to come and blow that shit up. But then when she realized that they were trying to trap that bitch again, it's that explosion and blowing that shit up. She says, if I'm going down, you're all coming down with me. And she blew that fucker up.
She knew exactly.
And I said, I didn't say you go, bitch, like damn yes, but I said, ooh, we're here. Let's go.
See, I didn't think they'd call her mom, but I'm really glad they did, because that just shows, because they're friends, but we don't really see them be friends. Like specifically like Maddy and Rue. Like when Maddy hugged Rue, that felt really genuine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't really see, Rue interact with them enough. So I really like that they called the mom. But yes, it was we talking, betrayal before with Jules and Elliot. This was just another betrayal layer cake. It's a betrayal cake. That's what you call it.
But do you think that she called the mom, or do you think that the mom had called them saying, hey, if she comes to have, let me know? Because when the mom was there and having that conversation, she's like, she's not good, and all of them were kind of acting. So when Maddy gave that hug, I was like, oh, she really cares? Or they knew if Rue came to act normal before they intervened that hug?
I'm going to go ahead and assume when Gia was on her phone, she was texting people telling them.
Yeah, and I think Maddy and them all knew that when she came in, that's why they acted surprised, but they were not fucking surprised. They knew that she was coming, and that they were like, we're trying to keep the peace there till the mom get there. Like, that's why I said, when Maddy gave her that hug, I was like, Maddy hugging someone? No.
She hugs people. We have seen a very vulnerable, gentle side of Maddy this season.
All right.
I am not one for Maddy slandering. I will not put up with it.
Mm-hmm. Like
That's
that one time Elliot was good. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I do think there's a different side of Maddy when she's not directly connected to Nate. But yeah, I didn't anticipate this would be the way that she found out, to be honest. Which is similar to how we talked about it last week, that I didn't anticipate that was how Cal would go off, or like the family would find out. Like, I think we're just getting a lot of like revelations just as they come. And I think what was really interesting about that is Sydney Sweeney definitely she played it off like she was great at the what? Like,
no, you're good. It's just watching her unravel.
Yes, where she's trying to save face and trying to, and even the quick switch as far as like we're seeing both Rue and Cassie just being so like doing everything they can to into their advantage, as far as like Rue using this as a distraction, and then Cassie saying, well, like she's quickly changing to like she's a drug addict, like she lies, why do you believe her? Like, and it's just so interesting just to see, I don't know, the characters try to figure it out on the fly. Like, and I think it was brought up a little earlier where like they're not thinking any of this through because they're 17. Like there is no concept of like what a consequence will look like until the thing has happened, and now I have to figure out how to like deal with this. And so it's always interesting to see all of them interact rather than just on their own, because I think we see that in play as far as just what those relationships look like, that they can be really supportive, but they can also be really destructive. But Rue is at the center of it this time around compared to the last episode.
Yeah, I think one thing from that scene that I immediately thought of is when she was trying to steal the earrings from Lexi, just like knowing Lexi's background and how her father, like the last time she saw her father, like he was stealing from them. So like, imagine like if Rue...
Damn, I didn't even think of that.
Like if she ended up, did she end up keeping the earrings? I can't remember. I think she
kept the earrings.
Yeah, so it's like...
Yeah, she gave it to the lady.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure like if, I don't remember if they fell out of her pocket or something, but yeah, that makes sense. So like she stole earrings from her best friend who has had that experience. So I feel like when Lexi like sees that, I feel like that's just gonna hit differently. That was like the one thing on top of, Maddy finally coming out of hiding, her psycho part. That was great. I'm so excited for next episode.
I'm about to get violent.
Cassie's a little bitch, bro. Because when Cassie said she said I'm crazier. First off, she pussied out when Maddy is all up in her fucking face.
She's
right?
a liar.
What does Cassie do? She's like, I'm crazier. She runs away up the fucking stairs. Okay, and because she's a little bitch. And then the second thing is when whatchamacallit? What happened with Cassie? When she flipped it on Rue, I said, there you go, bitch. She's like, one step at a time. Oh, I'm Kiki King best friends with you. And then she's like, you a drug addict? And Rue's like, see, bitch, I knew it. Yep, hell nah. Cassie lost mad cred there. And I was like, wow, Cassie, you know what? You got what was coming to you, bitch. Oh, and my favorite line in that whole scene is actually so stupid. It's Kat's line. She's like, Cass, that was really bad. What the fuck, Kat? No shit, Kat. It's fucking terrible.
It's the mother. I don't care who's fucking who.
Right.
Yes, we're having intervention.
Stop acting like an animal. What does Susie say? Stop acting like an animal or something like that. And then Lexi's like, you want to go for a walk, Cass?
Yes. I also feel like Maddy's lines were not like so scripted to the point, because there's sometimes where I feel like Maddy is like improving a little bit, and she's not the best improver. She's not like on Zendaya's level, obviously, and like other people's level. But when she's like, shut the fuck up, Kat. And she's like, I knew this bitch, self-centered. I'm gonna beat your ass. I was like, I don't know if that was the delivery, like written how it was. But you know what?
Yeah.
Maddy does talk like this, so I'm not mad about it.
I was literally gonna say, I'm not sure if like Maddy's like performance was 100% believable, like that she would blow up like right away as soon as she heard it. Like I feel like she would, if they would have given us like a little teaser of her being like, is everything okay with like you and Nate, or like something where like they would have questioned it before, and then like this blew up. She's like, I knew it. Even like, if
No,
that
this
would
was,
have happened,
this was the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, because that blew it up because a lot of people didn't guess it because they never brought it up.
Well, it's
Like
because
that.
you thought they understood the assignment of the intervention. I mean, which they did understand. But then, you know, Rue in her Rueisms just said, I know how to get out of here. Let me drop this truth bomb. They'll never see it coming. It was perfect. It was a giant smoke screen. That's all it was. And then she knew.
You think Rue knew how to get out there? Or did you think Rue like planned it out being like, if I blow this up, there's a way for me to get out?
Oh,
I think
100%.
I feel like she didn't plan it out. I think she just know that if she was gonna have an intervention, she was gonna blow it up, and then in the chaos she would leave. But I don't think she was thinking like that far ahead. I think she was just saying, you know what, Cassie, stop being a little fucking bitch. Why you fucking Nate Jacobs at that point? And like to just divert the attention. But then she found an opportunity to leave once in the chaos. I don't think she was like planning it all the way.
I think it was two parts. I think it was one part planned, one part fuck this bitch. And so she dropped that shit.
I'm gonna have to go with Apex on this one. I think it wasn't planned at all. I think she was just really pissed off, and she was like, "Wait a minute, bitch! Did I just see you going at me as truck the other week? Oh, okay, right. Like, you can't give me no advice about anything." I think that's what she was giving, because I was like, yo, why did she stop with her so hard? Like, I was so shocked.
Very shocked.
I think it's both parts, though. I think
like this entire episode was like shock factor after shock factor after shock factor. It just didn't stop. And then this was like peak for me. And I'm like, is Cassie about to get her ass whooped right now? And then when Rue like left the house and she was running, and I was like, damn, I didn't want to see Rue run. I want to see Cassie get her ass whooped. Because I know Maddy.
Yes.
I feel like it was two parts. So I think Rue like wanted to like blow Cassie up, but I think there was a part of that knew like, I want to take all eyes off me, not to more so escape, but to take the attention off of her. I think after the fact, then she thought, okay, this is my perfect time to escape. But I think there was like a little part of her that also was like, okay, let me just take the attention, the heat off me. As we would say, she ruined everything.
She ruined. Ooh, I like that.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Good job, nieces. Pieces. Ruined.
Come on. And I would like to let everyone know that this play that Lexi gonna write is gonna be a fucking masterpiece.
The memes of Lexi in the back just going.
Yeah. And then she's like, Cassie, do you want to go on a walk? What the fuck, Lexi?
Right, let me get the script, the scoop.
Tell me how you're feeling in this moment. I want to know every detail.
Right, I'm going for my
for Oklahoma.
For Oklahoma.
Right. Oh my God.
I don't like her.
But yes, I think Cassie's her face changes a bunch during that scene. If Zendaya is up for best actress. I think Sydney, right? Sydney's her name.
Sydney.
Her and Jules could be up for supporting. I'm just gonna throw it out there. It was her face the whole time. What?
Yeah, I can't wait for the next episode where I'm gonna see what the fuck gonna happen with Cassie and Maddy.
Maddie's gonna drop that disc next episode.
But that's like later on. We still got so much more this episode to talk about.
Oh no. I'm okay. Right. Please. No, I'm just saying. But I mean, as far as the rest of the episode goes, it's a lot. I call it the hot pursuit. It is Rue committing crime now, breaking and entering, which was a hilarious scene too. Did you notice how many times the stakes are
escalating? The stakes are escalating because now it's not just friends and she went into traffic. Now she's like breaking and entering, and like people are getting their cars crashed into and like shit like that.
Right. She's causing major damage all around. I don't even know what city they're set in. Causing major damage.
A lot of charges.
Right.
A lot of court cases.
LA.
Do you think there's any meaning behind the dogs? She met a lot of dogs on her little run. I don't know if y'all noticed. Did you notice the dogs?
Yeah, she did.
A lot of dogs. I don't know if that was the most like meaningful part of the episode, but there were
okay.
a lot of dogs.
You know.
Yeah, Harold was like iconic role.
Harold, that was
the first dog. The one that was like, there, you think he's gonna do anything? She's just like, come here, little puppy. And then he like sits on her. She's like, oh God, Harold.
Maybe I'm just looking into things. Either way.
I think the important part is like she almost got trafficked.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Oh,
That's
yes.
definitely
Wait.
grooming.
Oh, and before like we get into that one, just talk to her first about the first breaking and entering. When she's at the safe and she goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I bet you bitches was gagged because you know how many people probably have that safe combination of that and 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh my gosh, I saw that and I said genius. And then when she's like, get the gun, how did she get out of that house? Oh. That is wild, Spider-Man material right there.
Yeah,
she got out of that freaking house. Crazy that she got out that house and she's limping and she's still there and the police chasing stuff. And then she finally hits the fan because she's like, oh, I have to give this money as loyalty. But she's really there for the drugs, which is what DoctaReeka said, which I'm going to call it in the beginning. And I cannot wait because that part was cynical. And it felt like a scary movie. I don't know about y'all.
It was very much.
Yeah, it was like a horror movie. I don't know if y'all watch with captions, but it said like
foreboding
music. I was like,
yeah,
that's making it worse for me.
Yeah, just from the moment she walked in, you know, that lady is very calculating. Okay, you can't get a read on her other than, you know.
I was gonna say, so weird though, because like I felt like she was like so nice and trying to take care of her, and she's like,
no,
the first time, like, what was that?
She is not being nice.
She's being nice on purpose. It's like
like grooming her. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's also a sociopath.
And I understand what it's like to be an addict. And here's a whole like research article that I read. And like, are you sure that you don't want the morphine? And let's get you in the bath and like get you comfortable. I'm gonna take care of you. I knew that, you know, as soon as you came into my life, you were gonna be in it forever. It's like classic, like setting her up for disaster.
100%. And then she goes and pulls out the bag filled with other drugs. In a closet filled with other drugs, and she's like, I only have morphine. Like, okay, interesting.
Lying ass bitch.
She convinced me. She convinced me that there was nothing wrong. Like, I thought she was being super nice for so long.
Oh my gosh, no.
Even when Rue left the house, I was like, wait.
No.
She was trying to traffic her. No, am I wrong?
Yes, when she had the morphine and looking at her screen.
Well, she said it. She said, well, Rue, thankfully you're a woman. You always got something that people want.
Yeah, that's it's weird. Like now she's doing too much. But it was just the fact that Rue was able to like, she was like in a whole bed, like by herself, and she was able to get up and leave. I was like, was this intentional? Like it was such a like a very misplacing feeling, I guess the teacher was giving, that I couldn't completely read the situation. Because at first when she gave her the morphine, I was like, she did throw up out of nowhere and she is going through withdrawal. So I think the morphine was like, I was like, is that not? And I kept asking, I was like, is morphine what she need? I'm not like big on drugs, but is this not going to help her? And then,
I mean,
it
was, like, did.
Weird about it. And I was
did,
like,
but
okay.
If someone wanted to have her way with her.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to happen. I was like, did someone have her way?
Well, that's the that's the thing, though. I think something happened because she went under the bath, under the water, and she just wakes up with clothes on. You know, I don't.
Well, that she was like sexually assaulted or something from like the guys inside there or something.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's a possibility.
I don't think so, because you want her to be kind of like as pure as possible when you're selling something. Like, not saying that I do this to the listeners out there, but I'm saying like in the mindset of that, like you would want her to be kind of like this, like, oh, like here's this little 17-year-old girl that's untouched, like who wants to bid for her, you know, like obviously in like the darkscapes of like the world, you know? So I don't think like just having one of her henchmen go and have his way with her was going to do anything, especially if she's like
if you kind of pay for it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. What, the henchman is going to pay for it? I don't think the henchman was.
It was just the illusion. The intention was just the fact that it could have happened. Was right. Terrifying.
Well, no, it's also to allude to when she's in the morphine, back to her dad dying and like what she's in the water and stuff. So it was a very like it was like a choice in the story to like really bring back humanity to like her thing, because she's like coming back to it with it. But what was I gonna say? all those fucking birds in that house, that shit was that was a giveaway that this bitch is a human trafficker. If you got mad birds in your house, I'm just kidding. No, I'm fucking playing with you. That's fucking blasphemy. But
no, it's true though. Like that is, I've heard that is why people have birds, because they make noises. So it's kind of like an alarm alert. And
well, that's why I said that. Yeah, no, but that's why I said like they were like, oh, like you think she's caged? No, like she was caged. They had the doorknob. They expect someone to wake up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And just Rue just got that lucky that she was able to like leave.
But I think
they had the door locked. Yeah.
But I think the thing is, we have to remember is Lori is a businesswoman. I don't think she's that concerned about Rue escaping, because she knows she's a drug addict, and I think the morphine was another reason just to help continue getting her fix. So like, as long as Rue knows that I can go to this woman to get my next fix, like Lori knows Rue's going to continue coming back to her.
She'll be back.
And the fact that like she opened this suitcase of drugs can very much portray the fact that money ain't a thing. Rue owes her $10K. That's probably nothing to this woman. So she I think she knew from the beginning, even though Fez said that Rue wasn't a drug addict, she very much knew that this girl was going to be a drug addict. That's why she said, I knew from the moment I met you, you're going to be my life in a while. So I think in a way, especially when Rue came to her asking for the suitcase and everything, she knew that this was going to happen. She knew Rue was going to not be able to pay her back, and that she was going to do some stupid shit with the drugs. And I think that's what she intended and what she wanted. So I feel like this opens up doors on that relationship for maybe next season or for the remainder of the season. Who knows where the remainder of the season is going to go. But now Rue, I think she just opened that door for Rue even further just by giving her that suitcase of drugs. And I think that was very much her intention. So I have a lot of anxiety. Like I think we talked about this before. Like as a woman, I think one of my biggest fears is that like being like sold into sex trafficking. So I'm very anxious for Rue for the remainder of however long this show goes on until that woman is out of her life or put to bed or something. Like I'm scared for her.
Yeah, because the door is not closed. The door is not closed.
Yes. Like the whole thing just gave me like, I was like, oh no. Okay.
Quick though. So quick question. So remember the lady, the teacher, she told Rue she owed her only a certain amount. Wasn't it only like 3,000 or something?
No, she only had 3,000 to pay for the $10,000 of that suitcase. She said, "I'm gonna give you a drug. I'm gonna give you a suitcase filled with drugs. It's $10,000 worth that she has to pay back in $10,000."
No, I don't think that's not how that worked. There was a percentages going on because she said she had to get rid of it, but Rue would keep like 4,000, and then she would get
after the fact.
Like she would give her. So Rue, the intention, if she did it as she indicated, was that she would sell all of it for $10K, bring the $10K to Lori, then it would be cut, where Rue would get her cut and Lori would get her cut.
Yeah.
I just remember it just Lori wanted her cut. That's the biggest highlight that I remember. Did she not technically? So my whole thing is her whole intentions was to trade this girl off anyway, because she technically got her cut on that table. Regardless if Rue brought the $10K to her or not, she still got her cut at that table.
That's tricky.
The $3K? No way. 30%?
It was $2K and all that jewelry at some, like, come on now.
What if that jewelry gets reported stolen and then they go pawn it?
Oh my God, at a pawn shop?
Oh, that reported shit, that's nothing. She said it was like $1,000 in like jewelry that she thought, and then like $2,000 in cash or whatever. But even then, 3K out of the 10K, that is not enough. Like that, she gonna only keep cut 30%?
But at the end of it all, regardless if she gets a 10K or not, isn't the 3 or 4K all she wanted anyway? Like that's all she that was what she said at the very end of all that whole thing. She broke down a Rue, I'm gonna get my $3,000-$4,000. So technically she got her money in her face, but obviously her intentions are something else. Like it's like she clearly said, I don't care about any of this. But she didn't care about anything that Rue brought to her. And if she did, she would have just been like, you know what? Like, if it was that big of a deal, she would just be like, you know what? I'll take that, but you still owe me money or something like that. But instead, she just completely like brought up these like Wikipedia facts about drug addicts and everything else, and then was like, all right, now let me go ahead and groom you and get you right. And then it's like, okay, maybe you knew this was going to happen from the beginning, so none of this actually mattered.
Yes.
So none of this ever mattered. So your whole intentions was to sell this girl from the get-go. Like, it has nothing to do with like any money or anything. Like, she's not upset. Like, she had this planned out for a while for Rue. Like, it's kind of weird.
She started off with $50,000. She's like, here, I'll give you $50,000 worth of drugs. And Rue's like, let's not go that expensive. Let's go with like 10.
Oh, and then what was I gonna say? The what made this lady even more cynical was when she was doing the morphine shot. Also, when they were doing the blurry background, I was like, that's the most you're gonna ever see Zendaya naked, because she ain't ever naked ever in Euphoria.
I feel that made the scene more intense, that you didn't see how she was grooming her. You only had the blurred vision. And the morphine, the morphine was in the shot, right?
Well, no, the morphine was in the shot, but what I'm saying, when she's gonna give her the shot of morphine, you notice she's like, I need you to hold still, and like misses. And then when she's putting the shot in her, she's like moving it inside of her freaking thing. She's not like holding still. Like, she's literally moving the needle in there. Like, and then like when she pulls, I think that there was like something that like if blood goes inside like the thing, or like, I don't know, there's something like that's bad or whatever, but it was just really bad. Like, I was just like, this is like, this could be like really like toxic and stuff, but
no, I'm pretty sure to have that blood in the morphine so that your body can accept it.
But then like inject it back in. I think that there's like something like bad about that.
No, that's supposed to happen. No, that's supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen. Yeah, I asked. Yeah, I was.
Okay, cool. I'm not no medical person. I'm afraid of shots.
No, but you're
unless they're alcoholic. But
like a professional at doing like all these drugs and stuff and like selling these drugs, you'd think that she would know how to do an IV, you know, like you think she'd know how to get the nail in there. And it's not like Rue was just squirming around. She like purposely missed a couple of times so she can show that there's multiple marks on her, and then B, like to bruise her and to kind of like, I don't want to say like brand her or like anything, but like that left a huge mark on her. So if she ever goes to like the police, or if she ever goes to the hospital and they see the puncture holes on the veins, that's like automatic red flag that, okay, she isn't just like an opioid user. She's like injecting stuff into her body. And so, I mean,
they'll see that in the drug test though too, like for sure.
You know? No, 100%. But like, that's the thing, is like injecting stuff is a whole new level of like that you don't want to get into. Like, we know that Rue has gotten into like that level of like, oh, you can't really come back from this, honey. But like when you start injecting stuff, like it gets bad. And I've had a lot of stories of people injecting things that definitely should not belong in their body. And like it's scary.
It opens the door for more drug abuse now that there's a new method introduced. So,
and we'll see, because if y'all watch the sneak peek, it seems like she goes back home and is now currently going through withdrawal.
Well, that was the end of the episode. She walked through the door. That's what I feel.
You think it's her?
I think it's her.
In the sneak peek, we saw her sweating and
I didn't see the sneak peek.
Look at the
what
sneak
the hell?
It didn't play. It cut off when the
credits. You have to do the little. You gotta click that.
Usually it played last time.
It's on the internet. It's on Twitter. It's on YouTube.
There's the Euphoria.
I will go watch it now.
It is in the sneak peek. It is confirmed that she did reach somewhere that is safer.
And she lays down in bed with the sister Gia.
Yeah. So she's going through
she says that she's like, I know I fucked up, or like she's like that it's hard to regret what she said or something, that like because she thought it or whatever, which I thought was interesting that they put that in the trailer, because you know when you're thinking withdrawal, she's like, you know, she's saying stuff, she doesn't mean it, but I think like, you know, she did think it and stuff, so maybe part of it is true. And the first thing I thought was when Jules, like when he said about the heartbreaking part, that was definitely true. Like she was fucking broken. But no, after that, when she went to the house, I totally think she went to her mom's house. Like she went back home.
Hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so too, unless it's like the fucking police and they picked her up or some shit. I don't know.
I mean, we'll see.
I hope she got away from the police. I hope that doesn't come into play because that's
what she did in the trash can.
It's gonna come back on her.
I hope not. I hope that
caused
like
a lot.
She got so many people to get in accidents. She broke and entered. I was like, if she gets away with it, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I hope this just doesn't get swept under the rug. I really hope not.
Yes, we'll see.
Also, this human trafficker bitch, she's gonna come for that ass. And oh my god,
I hope she goes to jail.
If she gets Gia, that's gonna be a gag.
The only
that will be horrible.
There's a lot of rumors going around that Fez might be the one that has to
I was gonna say Fez is gonna have to save the day here.
Fez could be the one to save the day.
Huh?
I don't know if he's gonna be safe. I don't know because if you remember, when I saw people having conversation. Y'all have been talking all day. Haven't been having conversation about this in terms of like in the first episode where he said, you know, that's family. You know, I'd die for her. And not saying that he's gonna die. I just think something's gonna happen that'll kind of blow up his life in a way that is unexpected. So
death of Ashtray.
I mean, Fez has been really involved too, because he's been like with the shit with Nate and like the thing with fucking Cal's dad and all stuff too. I mean, man, if they kill Fez, that's my man. Yo, I love every episode where he's just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Rue. That's like iconic. Oh my god, he's so good. I love him.
He is great. I mean, at this point in the series, because 3 more episodes? There are I care now just about Rue and whether or not she comes back from this and seeks more help from maybe Ali or someone or something. And the play, I guess. I just don't really care about anything else going on at this point. This episode was very.
You think there's not gonna be a better episode this season?
No, I didn't say that. Episode 3 is still my favorite episode this season. It's just, you know, this episode puts a lot of things in perspective as far as the realism that they're trying to portray. And I guess that's what I'm more invested in to see how this plays out as far as what is next for Rue. Because I have no idea. I have no idea how her journey's going to look.
The leading role in Oklahoma. Duh.
All right.
I'm ready to see what's going on with Cal. To be completely honest.
Do you want to wrestle?
I need to know where he fits in everything that just happened, because he's got to fit in somewhere. They are going to put him in somewhere.
No doubt.
In what just occurred in this episode.
Also, Jules too. See where she's at.
Oh god.
Maybe they all go to rehab together.
No.
Rehab, but Jules is on the phone. She's like, "Oh, are you suddenly a good person?" At first, you think it's Rue, but I think it's Elliot calling Jules.
You think?
I don't know about that because I didn't even think about that. But I do think Rue needs to have.
You didn't see the recap. I mean, the sneak peek.
Oh yeah, there you go. I think Rue needs to have a one-on-one with Cal Jacobs, though, talking about how the biggest regrets are these people, because they both. I found a parallel between that too. Cal saying, you know, Nate's his biggest regret. Rue telling Jules, she's her biggest regret. I think they can have a conversation. I think I would like to see a conversation between those two. That's just
in rehab.
Oh, Rue and Cal.
In rehab, cool. I would love to see it in rehab because he has a drinking problem, obviously.
Oh, true.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they obviously could be in rehab together, and they have a lot of those moments where you do bring up a good point, because they have a lot of those moments where they do catch each other, but like nothing really happens. You know what I mean? Like they like see each other, or like, you know, he's like watching and then he's like, oh, what the fuck? And then she sees Nate Jacobs and Cassie. Like Rue's always like in the midst of the Jacobs family for some reason. So I see some dialogue happening between those two, because they're having like probably the biggest breakouts right now. Like they're at peaks, both of them.
Yeah.
Like, like if there was about two main characters, it's the two of them right now.
So I know we can't really dive into this too much because Grandmaster did not watch the sneak peek, but
I mean, you can. It's no biggie.
When they showed the gun was on somebody's car seat, and Cassie was in the back seat of that car with the same lighting, and Cassie says, "You think she's crazy? I'm crazier." I'm kind of nervous that Cassie's gonna do something to Rue.
I don't know. Wasn't also the seating? Wasn't there like a scene that showed like
Maddy?
No, the gun
With it?
next to the tape.
Yeah. Yeah, Maddy was also with it, and then it's funny because I'm just like with Maddy and Nate, it's just gonna come to a whole like who's gonna do what and who's gonna die if someone dies. But I didn't see that with Cassie being the one to shoot a bitch. I do think Cassie may spiral. Cassie definitely has she may have the tendency to spiral her ass down and then get into a really low point. I hope she doesn't go into self-harm or like something like that. But some bitches, when they blow their fucking life up like that and they feel hopeless, something might happen like really bad.
Nate is definitely not going to be happy that Rue is the one that spread that.
True that.
Destroy that relationship.
And he might go after Jules. Oh, and also I want to say this too: when Maddy releases the tape disc, which I do feel she will, or maybe it won't even be her. It'll be somebody else that releases the disc, right? Somehow the disc will come to light. Jules is gonna have a lot of heat too, because Jules, it's a sex tape of her.
Yeah.
And as much as they're making it be like, oh, Cal, you're the one that's gonna be fucked. This will also blow up Jules' life too, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
I have
I
a
guess
feeling that it'll be threatened. I don't know if it'll get out.
Really?
Yeah, I think it'll be used as leverage on Maddy's end, but I don't know if it'll actually get out. And I feel like the gun seems like a Nate thing. I don't know.
It does seem like a Nate thing.
I think he was holding it.
Whatever happens. I think the gun's related to Nate. I think the tape is going to come into play. I don't know if it's actually going to get out though.
If they subvert all our expectations, I think that's really good storytelling. I think
Nate kills Maddy.
I guess it could be like a. I guess it could be like a shut up thing. Like they get the gun and tell Rue to shut up. Tell Maddy you didn't see anything.
Oh no.
So
Nah, hell nah, bro.
It's too late.
She's
I think
they know that shit.
Just
because technically Cassie still has not yet set out her mouth in any of the scenes we just saw say, yeah, I fucked him.
We're gonna get that follow-up scene upstairs next week. We're gonna get that
also
follow-up.
doesn't seem like a threatening something that would cause him to want to threaten somebody with a gun.
If Nate has the gun, he might threaten his dad because of what he said to him. Like when Cal was like, "Oh, you're the worst thing that ever happened to me," and he's like, some fucking crazy shit because of how fucked up Nate is from his father. You know what I'm saying? It could be that too. It's totally an option.
Drama, and I guess everybody has to tune in next week to see it. Also, is it going to happen next week? Because next week is a holiday.
You mean Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Watch the Super Bowl, then watch Euphoria.
Look this up.
Yeah, I'm tuning in. That's a good question.
I'll totally be fine. I think Euphoria will be a great follow-up to the Super Bowl. I think.
I won't even watch Super Bowl if it's still going while Euphoria's going on. I'll watch Euphoria.
Actually, I really don't care about the game. You're right. I care about the halftime show, and then
I watch.
But look at us getting off topic. That's how dedicated we are to the fandom of this. But I think we covered all topics, and we now given some predictions and some things to look
February
forward
13th,
to.
air date, Super Bowl. After you watch the halftime show or where the fuck it is, Atlanta timeout.
And
just tune in.
Birthday. I may have to hold off till Monday to give me.
Is your birthday on Sunday?
Yeah.
Wait, you're Aquarius too?
I don't know if I'm trying to be sad on that day,
Wait, Eric, DoctaReeka, mine's on the 10th. That's so funny.
Oh, look at us.
The Yonkō Table bringing fat people together.
So is Maddy.
Wait, who said it that it was friends? Oh my gosh. That was like, damn, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking something else. Continue. I totally just threw off this whole story.
No, listen, we're just closing things off.
Happy early birthday, DoctaReeka.
Oh,
and
early birthday.
Thank you.
Nieces Pieces, DoctaReeka. Yes, blow up them. We're going to leave their Twitter feeds and their Instagrams. Y'all can go show them love.
And their social security.
You will not be doing either of those things. But what you can give us is, a like and a subscribe
Ooh.
and some viewage.
Ooh,
Ooh.
even better, we're
Listening.
gonna drop their Venmo. Everybody give them a little birthday tip.
I will take some money. I will.
Ooh.
I
Take
will
some money.
gladly accept. I'm a broke
She's a
bitch, live
doctor.
in New York.
She's a doctor, and the bill is up, bitch. You don't got insurance? Pay up. That's what it is.
Oh my, we are digressing. I'm just trying to close out the show.
It's
Listen,
perfect.
folks, as DoctaReeka said, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscription. Catch us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Catch us on all your podcast viewing stations, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen. Catch us on YouTube and you want to see our beautiful faces discuss this fantastic show and other great shows and movies that we cover and whatnot. Listen, we have fun coming here talking about Euphoria. We will see y'all next week. We will see the aftermath of the spiraling of the running of the Rue. So, hey, tune in next Monday for the Yonkō Table. I'm GrandMasterHoop. Shout out to Nieces Pieces, Darce, Kame, Chris, Apex, and DoctaReeka. Take care, everybody.